Hi everyone, before we begin, don't forget to subscribe, and like this video, it really helps push our content out to more people. In the early 1830s, the saints were still in the process of gathering, with many of them living in Kirtland, Ohio. The restoration of the gospel was still in its infancy, and they faced incredible challenges. These were days filled with uncertainty and opposition. The saints were being led by a young prophet, Joseph Smith, who was just beginning to receive more revelations on how to organize the church and how to build the kingdom of God on earth. In the spring of 1831, the Lord gave Joseph Smith a revelation that marked a turning point for the saints. In Doctrine and Covenants, section 41, the Lord begins to instruct the saints about how they should prepare to receive His law. The first thing the Lord tells them is to prepare ye and be ready. This is a time of preparation, not only for the reception of His law, but for the building of His church. The saints were called to be obedient, and they had to humble themselves in order to follow the path the Lord was laying out before them. The saints in Kirtland were coming from different parts of the United States, each bringing their own background culture and beliefs. The community was diverse, yet they were being unified under the gospel and the leadership of Joseph Smith. In the midst of this diversity, they were being asked to humble themselves and unite in faith, something that would prove difficult at times due to personal trials and the harsh realities of pioneer life. Just a few months later, in 1831, the Lord delivered another important revelation to the saints found in Doctrine and Covenants 42. This was the law of the church, a guide for how the saints should live in harmony and unity. The Lord instructed them about consecration, how they should live with all things in common and share their resources. The saints were to be a community that cared for each other, a model of unity and love that would help them stand strong amidst the trials that were ahead. At this time, the saints were already experiencing persecution from both the local communities in Ohio and from political and social pressures. The culture was largely skeptical of the new religious movement, and many were suspicious of Joseph Smith and his revelations. The law of consecration was a radical departure from the norm. It called for a radical change in how people thought about property and wealth. It was a call to live in a way that was not just about survival, but about becoming a community of believers bound by the gospel.